Thanks for joining us for the Park Board meeting, the April meeting. Fourth Tuesday of the month is always our meeting, so thanks for joining us. And Jack's got the agenda on screen. We'll proceed as through the agenda. For anyone new joining, we always have public comments at the end, but if there's something pressing that we're talking about that you want to ask about, just either use the chat feature or raise your hand or something. Moderate and we'll talk
Kendra,
to you. So first order of business.
Kendra, excuse me, if people could give their name and address for me, please.
When they talk.
Great.
Yes, when they talk.
Great.
Thank you.
Whoops.
Okay. So first order of business, I'd like to make a motion to approve the March minutes.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So new business. Some of this I'll just be talking about. It's not really a discussion item, but just in case anyone has any questions, because there was a little bit back and forth. Civic is going to be proceeding as always with the food and beverage on July 4th. Not the Park Board. We were sort of exploring that, but that's not going to take place. So just if anyone was wondering, Civic is still going to be heading that whole thing up as always. One thing to discuss is the sign at stop 24. There was a sign there, and the basic purpose of it is just to say, it's not like a welcome to Long Beach sign. It's more like stop 24, police, fire, town center, this way with an arrow. There used to be one, and it got torn down. So, or it was old and removed. So we had done some exploratory work with, or talked to a local masonist who repairs the pillars in Long Beach, the brick pillars that are adjacent from the stops leading into the inroads. And we're wanting to do a small replica of that, sort of town sign. So I think officially we talked about this and we were going to explore it. And I think what we need to do now is, just reaffirm that and then get kind of a mock-up over to the town council so that they can approve it and make sure, we'll be within the sign code and ordinances, but I think that's where we're at with it. Am I right on that? The last time we talked?
Yes.
I don't know. Did we talk about that in a forum? I don't remember us doing that. Maybe
we talked about it, I think.
I don't remember it or remember talking about what it would look like or anything, but
the only thing I want to bring up on that subject is I just want to be careful that we don't end up with for the lack of a better word, crap load of signs over at stop 24, because we've got the old stop sign that's up there now. There's another sign that is a pole that's there, but nothing posted on it yet, but there's going to be water condition updates and stuff on that. And then there's a sign someplace else talking about who built the stop for us. And then you got the rule sign down towards where the sitting area is. So I don't know if there's any way we can kind of condense everything to one sign. We probably can't get it to one, but maybe at least if we figure out where they're going to be so that they're not all competing with each other and blocking the view.
Well, I did ask Tom to move that pole you're talking about to the left. It's in the wrong spot. The contractor people that did the stop put it right there. It's supposed to be to the left. It's supposed to be more west, towards between the house. There's a pretty big piece of empty property or whatever that's going to have grass. It should be there because once those water quality signs go up, they're pretty big. I mean, they're not attractive, and they say, red, yellow, green, or whatever. So Tom's going to move that pole to the left. So that'll be good. And then hopefully we can take down that red sign that says beach access closed. But I'm not opposed to I don't care if we don't even have a sign at all. I mean, do we need one, Joy? There was one there before. Is there a need to have that directional?
Chief Swistek requested that we put a sign back there.
What about, there's another spot. I mean, I guess, the other side of the road, has anyone ever considered that? Putting it in the corner, we know where Bob Rose's property is that goes down with the grass all over it?
There's going to be a
Right.
sewer lift station there.
Okay. Well, as long as
Not that there can't be a sign there as well, but the sewer lift station has to have a pull in and pull out right in front of it. So I'm not sure there's going to be much room for a sign.
okay.
Though we could put it at the property, the town easement where there's some bushes. There used to be a sign there. Someone ran into it in the middle of the night where it says St. Lawrence and Lakeshore Drive. There's some low bushes right there. So it's not Bob Rose's side. It's the other side, that White House adjacent. I mean, it's town property, but.
Yeah, but that's kind of off. Yeah. Do we need to? And I don't want to get anything controversial here, but can we incorporate Stop 24 into the new sign, or do people like the old school black stop signs that have been up forever? Probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with those.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully at 24 we'll just have the water quality sign will be moved far enough over to the left that it won't obstruct the view, because as soon as I saw that up, I was like, oh my gosh, the view, why did they put that there? So that'll move. And then, maybe we can just attach the carry in, carry out, or the policy to, we've got something else on the agenda later to talk about that barricade we're going to need because cars are driving on there, but.
Okay, I mean, yeah, let's just do what you said, come up with a proposal, and as long as those other ones are moved around, I think it'll be fine. I'm probably just making something out of nothing.
So, Joy, I have a one-off with you now. We don't have to do it on public, but to give me the, since you have they're handy for you, just the dimensions, and then I can get them to the masonry guy, and he can do us a proposal. And then if anyone else has any suggestions what they want, I mean, go ahead and speak up, or what. I just thought it'd be better than, I'm not the sign at the center right now, or whatever it is. I think it's a little better. And, suggestions. So if anybody's got a different idea, we can talk about it now, or send them to the park board Gmail account.
Kendra, your audio is really, really not
Yeah,
good.
it's terrible. It's bad.
I mean, out. Well, no, I'm at my.
You need to go back inside. I think it's just your every other word kind of thing.
It's going to be really key where this sign is going to be, because it doesn't look to me like there's much room down there. They put a sidewalk in, and then there's a drainage ditch kind of, and
Yep. It's going to be hard to put something that's got two poles and something in the middle of the two poles.
yeah, with the whole masonry thing, that's going to be really hard to fit in down there.
Yeah, we may just need to take a walk down there. And all right, we still
Okay.
Okay. Now we hear you.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we're gonna table this, right? We're gonna maybe take a
We're gonna
look
work
down.
We're going to work on it in the background. But we probably should. So Joy just made the point while you were switching audio that we need to go down there and take a look at it, because there's not a lot of room.
Okay. So that'll be work in progress. We'll move now to stop 16. Zach, I'll let you take over this. I think we have some questions from some residents who live at 16 who wanted to do some repair work to the benches and boardwalk. So I'll let you do this item.
Okay. And then, and Dan, you're on, and you don't have to wait till public comments to talk about this, but let me go ahead and lead off with the conversation you and I had, so I can just fill everybody in on at least where I think we are and what the rules are relative to what you're asking that we do. So 16 has a kind of it's got a boardwalk that comes off of the asphalt boardwalk. The asphalt boardwalk stops I think about 10 feet shy of the 106-foot mark from Lakeshore Drive. And that matters, and I'll explain that in a second. And then you got about 10 foot of wood boardwalk, and then a whole bunch more of wood boardwalk going well beyond the 106-foot mark. And then you've got a viewing area with some benches, kind of a nice little deck that somebody built whenever, been there for a long time. And then there's a whole bunch of boardwalk sections that have been stacked up because I think the boardwalk used to go further when we had more beach, and this has been picked up and stacked over the years. So the concern is that the wood boardwalk area and the wood platform area are becoming dilapidated, the wood's rotting, and maybe a safety issue. Just, it's certainly a looks issue. You probably got maybe another year or two, you said of that. So I agree with all of that. So Dan came and asked me, what can we do with that? Can we replace it? Can we vote on what we want to do? Can we put matting down like they have in Michigan City, that blue matting type material to replace the boardwalk? So I did some homework. I talked to Joy quite a bit. She was on the council when the ordinance came out, but there is a view ordinance on a Lakeshore Drive where anything that is, nothing can be built 106.5 feet beyond Lakeshore Drive towards the lake. And I know there's some properties on Lakeshore Drive that have things out there now that are probably what I would call grandfathered in or there before the ordinance came out. But the problem is that we can't authorize, well, even if we applied for a permit, so let's say we agree with everything you're saying, Dan, and we apply for a building permit, which we would need to do to replace the wood floor boardwalk and to replace the viewing area just exactly as it is. The building commission is going to deny that permit because we're replacing and repairing a structure that shouldn't be there to begin with. You're not allowed to repair and replace if the structure shouldn't be there. That can be gotten around really only one way, and that would be that if the park board goes to bat and goes to the variance zoning,
Zach, I have to stop you here for a second.
do it. Yep.
We really can get a permit from the building commission level for a replace and repair, as long as it's a replace and repair exactly as it is.
Even if it's non-conforming?
Even if it's non-conforming, it'll be grandfathered in, but it has to be an exact replacement.
Okay, well that's much different than what I thought. So that's good. So I guess thanks for the correction. And then anything that would be different, which would include the blue matting, probably, if you consider that structural, I don't know. But if we wanted to put a canopy over that platform or change the dimensions of that platform, then we're talking about a variance then, I guess, right?
Right.
Okay, so Dan, I'll shut up and you tell me, did I say everything correctly, and what are you guys thinking you want to do? You guys being a group of folks that I think you're talking to that use Stop 16.
Yeah. Effectively, what we're looking at is everything's as described, and what we want to do is it's become a safety issue with the boardwalk further towards the lake. As you all know, the sun does a number on it. The platform's in fine shape. We're not talking about making any changes to that at all. But what we would like to do is what Joy pointed out is to repair and replace what's bad. But I've looked, or I've done some research based on what Michigan City did with theirs, and there's a different product that they call Access Mat, and it's a 3-foot by 100. It's a customized road that rolls up to about a 50-foot section, rolls up to about an 18-inch circle that we would use in lieu of the decking down there. And it comes in blue and it comes in tan. Tan would obviously look much better than the blue. That kind of sticks out. I think that's one of the not so nice looking things of Michigan City. So that is what we'd like to do. And the other option would be if we repair and replace, we're going to put composite material on there because it's going to stand up much better. And one of the reasons we've done this to start with is there's people on every beach stop, but on our beach stop in particular, there's enough people that have accessibility problems, and we want to make it a little easier for them to get to and from the beach. And I know that's, not part of what ordinances are. But if we were to be allowed to use the access mat in lieu of the boardwalk from the platform down, let's say, I think it'd be more aesthetically pleasing to everybody. It'd be less obtrusive. And at the end of the season, we can roll this thing up and it's gone. Now the deck will be there, but each year we would have to put it in. Zach, I think I sent you a link to the company that sells them. I spoke with them today. It's a very durable product. It doesn't fray at the end, so there's no worry about getting cuts or anything bad happening to you. Thank you. And the way it's secured is there are 18-inch stakes that go along the side of it, every, however far, and grommets that hold it in without being able to pull it out. It's environmentally friendly. It's not a woven fabric. It's a linked fabric is how they describe it. So it lasts pretty well, or lasts a pretty good time. So that's basically what we're trying to do. And obviously, we'd love the approval of the Parks Board and the Building Commission to do it.
So can I jump in? This is Kendra. Are you proposing that you guys are paying for this, your residents, or your, just an organic fund that you're taking up, or are you proposing?
I should have brought that up too. In the past, all of the work that's been done there is just a group of Stop 16 residents get together and everybody puts in what they can based on the budget. But I think we can collectively convince the people to put in a little more, because this access mat is about twice as much as composite would be. But it's not a terrible expense. I think each 50-foot roll is about $1,400, and that would, but plus delivery. So, and I think, I don't think, I spoke with Access Mat today, and we'd get a 15% discount on that as well.
What is that stuff? I mean, we have that, I think we have exactly the same material sitting at 24, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not this, it's something very similar.
It is. I'm sorry. I think you have the 4x6. What do they call it? I don't know if I can scroll through this thing. But if you go to products, there's Access Deck. That's the. I believe that's what they have at 24, based on conversations, because I haven't seen it. Now, what the picture scrolling through here is Access Mat.
Okay.
So I'm just going to just speak or verbalize what I'm thinking is that, obviously that would have to go through proper channels and whatnot with the building commission, make sure they knew, but I don't see why they would not allow this access mat versus the planks. And I am just, especially if you guys are funding it in the sense that you guys have a beautiful stop. I think Stop 16 is probably the best stop in all of Long Beach. And, the park board, although we have a healthy budget, it's still a budget. And we have other stops that have completely no access right now. 29, I don't know if it's ever coming back. I don't know what. So although I completely love the idea and I'm full support of it, and I even love it more if you guys can fund it, because I can't consciously think that for us as the park board, it would be a good investment to spend 5, 6, whatever thousand on that mat when other stops don't have stairs or whatnot. So I love the idea that you guys are so cohesive, so willing to do this and stuff, because, maybe there'll be a point in time where we have so much money, we don't know what to spend it on, but with all the erosion and stuff going on.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
I would think this, especially if you're going to use the mat, would really just be an issue for the town council. And I wouldn't think that, especially if the residents are going to pay for it, and all you would need to do really is go to the town council and say, hey, our boardwalk is rotting away and we'd like to use this product that we could roll down for the season. The problem is one of you guys would have to store it somewhere.
Yeah, we're aware.
And I don't think that would be a problem. I think the town would be fine with that because it's not really a structure; it's a temporary thing. And but it really is a town council issue. I would.
So you pull. I wasn't clear on that. So you pull that up in the winter?
We would pull it up in the winter, yeah, for two reasons. One, you don't know what's going to happen over the course of the winter. Secondly, even in the winter, the sun on anything, it just works. It works damage. And I got to step back a little bit. In speaking with the company today, I asked them what the warranty is, and they said 5 years. But I said, okay, I know what the warranty. We knew that. I said, well, what do you think it'll actually last? And they use this in Florida and North Carolina, all the coastal cities in the South. And they've been up for about 8 years now, 100% of the time, and they're holding up very well. So if we were to put it in, we're hoping 10 to 15 years, which is way more than we're going to get out of planking.
Kendra, we do have our council liaison, John Coker, on with us. Is it possible to ask him if he would take this to town council or ask him to step in?
Yeah, I can bring that up. Yeah, give me a brochure or something, and I can run it by the group. But I think that's a great idea. It certainly be a plus for that stop. That's for sure.
How far are you going to take it, Dan?
What we've done in the past is we've generally gone to right beyond the dune. So it doesn't go into the beach. As you mentioned, we had a lot of sections, but if you remember, not too many years ago, we had a lot of beach, and it typically went right to where the dune was. The dune has changed a little bit, so we would, whatever the conditions dictate, that's where it'd go. Pretty much.
Yeah, right. Realizing, of course, that you can't mat down any existing dune with those.
No, and that's the nice thing about this. It's 3 foot wide. So it wouldn't encroach on existing dune because that section there is 3 foot. And one of the other nice things about it that would be good for both the dune and for people, over time, as you step off the last plank, people's footsteps start pushing it away. So then you have a big drop in there. With the access mat, you're just going to be walking from a more stiff surface to the sand, so there's not this hard pound of 6 or 8 inches down into the ground. So it'd be better for at least the end of the termination point of it.
Great, sounds awesome.
Yeah, I've got no problem with it. You're just going to have to make sure it's graded properly, and so that it doesn't pool water up because it's not going to drain.
Well, no, this is another great thing about it. It does drain.
Oh, it drains
water goes through it. Yes.
Okay.
And so does the sand. So it and we could sweep it off if we need to, because as much sand as we there's obviously going to be some on there. So I think it'd be better for a lot of reasons, safety-wise too, because one of the problems we had been running into is when there became any type of an incline on the boardwalk sections and there was sand on there, it was like wax. You had to be very careful. This will prevent that.
Okay.
Great. So I think then where we're at with this is if Zach, if you already have those pictures, or if Dan can send them to you, we'll get them to John Coker, and at the May town council meeting, you can go ahead and just get approval and make sure everyone's on board with that, and then that way you can get them ordered quickly and hopefully be here in time for June or whatnot.
It's a 3-day delivery, so it will be in good shape. Well, a 3 to 5 day. But now, should I go to the meeting? I'd be happy to, or is it a Zoom meeting still?
It'd still be Zoom.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be helpful if you were there. If questions are asked, you can answer them better than I can because you.
Yeah, no, I'd love to be there. one other thing, I don't know if this can be brought up to anybody. We've got a lot of old sections up there, and I know we used to have a bulk pickup. We've got to get rid of these somehow, especially the ones that are stacked. Those are all stacked up there, not because the lake kept coming up and we had to get rid of them. And over time, they've deteriorated quite a bit. So we'd like that hazard to be removed, which we would do as a group.
Yeah, Dan, no problem. No problem. And just send me an email, and either Kendra or I will talk to Tom Dolph. And as long as I know when you're going to be putting it out by the street, we'll get it.
Yeah. Okay, great. I really do appreciate this, and hope it goes forward.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And hopefully we'll be on that beach soon.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to hang off.
Okay.
Bye now.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you,
So
John
now-
Coker, by the way.
No problem.
And now we'll just move on a couple items. We had our beach cleanup that we promoted, and Zach hung trash bags around on the different stops, and I think it went well. I mean, it wasn't maybe heavily as promoted as we usually do, but it went well. The same kind of, people turned out, so that was great. So I think that went successful. And I put a post out on our Facebook page just to thank Tom O'Keefe. He is with the Alliance for Great Lakes and lives at Stop 28. And he's the Alliance for Great Lakes and Tom have adopted Stop 28 as kind of a project, so to speak. They just take care of the stop and check the water levels and just that. And so they did a big cleanup. So I posted those pictures. I just wanted to say thank you to him and his family, I think, for that. Number 5 here, wanted to ask everyone on the board their thoughts about water fountains at additional stops. Right now, we have a water fountain just at stop 21 and no others planned. The water board was just wondering if we were going to want any others. And I have my thoughts on that, but if anyone else wants to speak, go ahead, or I can talk.
I'll say something. It's Joy.
Yep.
My opinion is it's a huge waste of water and a big maintenance issue. So I would vote no. And I think most people carry their own water with them now, especially when they don't want anybody else's germs.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
That's just my opinion.
I fully agree with Joy to keep it short and simple.
Yep. Anita, you got any weigh in on it?
I agree with the three of you.
Yep, I'm a fourth too. And just to reiterate, even they're taking drinking fountains out now. Our high school's just removing them altogether, and no plans to ever put them back in. Kids have to carry their own disposable water bottles and stuff. So I'll respond to them, tell them we're just going to keep the plan at 21 like it's always been, and that's it. So, okay. And okay, so this is an item to discuss. It's going to be something that our engineering brains are going to have to look at. Apparently, cars have been driving down the gravel footpath at stop 24. So right now it's beautiful, and it's clear that gravel path is not meant for cars, but cars have been driving all the way down. So right now, Tom Dolph put up some barriers, just like the cones, orange cones or whatnot. And so we've been asked by the town council to start thinking about what to do there to prevent this. I mean, I think that footpath, the gravel footpath is there so people can, have a wider space to bring down their items, carry a kayak, whatever, but it's not meant for cars. So,
Well, I think back when they first did the work, I think they were considering that if we didn't have the rocks down there at the base of it, it would be a place to get police ATVs on the beach.
Yeah.
And equipment up.
Sure.
So I think in fairness to whomever is doing that right now, it used to be a pull-in area before they did all the work. They've got a nice little concrete spot there where it looks like a car could pull in, and then we've got a drive or a walkway that's as wide as a car. So I could see why people who used to pull into that area are pulling into that area again, because there's nothing that says they shouldn't. But they make these bollards, they call them, and all you would need is probably 2 of them that would go equidistant in the middle of the concrete where Tom put the pylons up today that I've seen. And it would just be a round concrete footer and then you have a steel pole that comes up from the footer that's on a hinge, and it can be flopped down if we need to get a car down there, emergency vehicle down there, or equipment down there, and otherwise it's in the up position, and then you just put a padlock on them and keep them in the up position, and you get the key to those to the chief, and he could make as many as he would need to get to the police officers. So the only downside would be you got an extra key that people have to carry, but in my opinion, that would be an easy way to keep cars off of there, and then with allowing access if we needed it in case of an emergency.
So how high? Explain it maybe again. It wouldn't interfere with people walking on it.
No. They're maybe 3 inches in diameter, and they are probably waist high at the most. It's just tall enough to keep you can get them pretty low actually, and then all you're doing is preventing cars from. The problem is if you make them really low, they become a trip hazard. And I don't want to block the view of the lake either, but if you're going to put a barrier up that's going to prevent things from being driven, you want it to look like it's meant to be there, right?
Right.
So, but I can look up some of those online and show you guys some pictures in the next meeting or in between now and the next meeting. It's not a difficult thing to do. Wouldn't cost more than maybe $1,000.
Awesome. I say even since John Wall kind of tasked us with this, and we all work all well together. If you don't mind sending 1 or 2 examples to John Coker, and then he can share that at the May meeting as well, and they can all decide. And then whoever wants to pay for it can. If they want us to pay for it, we can. If they want it to come out of streets, they can. If John, if you don't mind putting that on your agenda too, and if everyone approves it, we can go ahead and facilitate work with Tom and have Tom install it and do kind of the work. You just let us know who's paying for it.
Not a problem.
Yeah, they're used in parks all over the place where you've got a wide enough path for like a bunch of bikes, but also a car if there was an emergency. You see them all over the place around Chicago, the ferry path, things like that.
Awesome. I had no idea that existed. Okay, cool. Thank you. That was easier than I thought. I thought this was going to be a big item. Okay, thanks, guys. Next one, item 7. Mark Swistek, the chief, had just requested some promotional items he was looking for to just promote goodwill amongst the community. Lots of items for kids, shovels and pails and sunglasses and footballs and things like that with the Long Beach Police Department logo on it, which I think is a great idea. It's great to have the police, interacting with the community. And Anita, you said that we did get the go ahead to go ahead and spend money on those items.
We did get the go-ahead at the special meeting, yes. And I think that he's going to do the Long Beach logo as well as the police department logo. Okay,
awesome. I just wanted to verify that. So that sounds good. And we'd already discussed, we have that sort of thing budgeted for. So I'll let him know that. So does Mark already know, does Swistek already know that we are going to be funding this? Or I'll just email with him and then get the invoice and give it to Joy.
He was at the meeting, but it needs to then be done however is appropriate, whatever you said, like to get it to Joy or whatever. So he was at the meeting. He knows, but
Mark just needs to send the invoices to me, and then I will forward them to Bill.
Okay.
Okay,
and
I'll let going to do what?
I'll let Mark know to go ahead and order the items and send the invoice straight to us /Joy. And then Joy will get them to Bill and make sure they're paid correctly out of our advertising and marketing budget. Okay. So it'll be easy, and I'll explain to Mark. He probably knows that we can't pay for items beforehand and stuff like that. So I'll walk Mark through that, or Swistek through that. So awesome. Okay, so now on to ongoing business. Well, I think Sarah's on the line now if she wants to give the summer camp update.
Hello. So summer camp is a go, and we have a little bit of an unusual situation. Normally camp is 7 weeks, but this year It's going to need to be 6 weeks instead because of how the majority of our staff either are employed or attend Michigan City schools or LaPorte schools, and their calendars do not align nicely for summer vacation this year. So we will be starting June 21st, and then we'll be ending July 30th. The nice thing is 4th of July falls at a place that's a little bit easier for us. We still get a 4-day week as opposed to a 3-day week with it when it normally falls in the middle of the week. We are proposing, though, that our rates still stay the same because we have to get kind of creative with how we're going to do some of our things at camp. And so we thought by just having the rates stay as they are, even though it's 6 weeks instead of 7, it ends up only being a 4-day difference when you actually do the math for how it would normally pan out. I'm not sure if you guys need to approve that or if we can just do that. No. Do you want me to keep going?
Where is everybody? Kendra?
I'm sorry.
I think you can just do that as part of your budget.
Okay.
Me too. I was totally muted and said the same thing, and I thought everyone was listening to me.
No, it's okay. I just want to be sure, because we are due for an increase anyway, and I feel like this might be kind of an ease into that kind of a thing, that if it happens that way, it'll be good. Same for tennis. It'll only be 6 weeks, but we're going to leave those rates the same as well. That will start June 22nd and end the 29th of July. It's been a couple years. Do I need to reserve the tennis court somehow for our tennis time in the morning so they're not used on those days?
Yes, we'll work with you on that and think about the best way to do it. Probably just a simple sign up, and we'll communicate it on Facebook. Let me know what times you guys are using them and stuff. And I don't think will be any issue with anybody, but we'll just try and post simple signs and let people know they'll be closed whenever you need them to be. So just let me know when those times are.
I can send you that information.
Okay.
We're still serving campers ages 3 through 11, but normally we have 3 groups, and this year we're looking at having 4 to keep our numbers even lower with all the COVID things going on, just also to distance some of the groups and allow for some more time to clean and do all that business in between. We still will have 4 stations with 4 director at each one of them, but we're going to have like an outside station that's going to be more of like a transition station for each of the groups, so that they get a little bit of a buffer time of not being quite so rigid in where we have to sit and be. And we're following the same guidelines that the schools are following, so it shouldn't be anything that's new for the kids. Honestly, the kids I think are better about COVID things than some adults are. My only other thing in regards to COVID, do I need to add, like we have a photo release, a waiver at the bottom for risk? Do I need to add some kind of a COVID waiver? I don't even know the right term.
Kendra, actually, Sarah, this came up, and John Coker, maybe you can weigh in, but this did come up at the COVID discussion about the 4th of July camp also came up. Chris Willoughby, I believe, if I recall, Mr. Coker said that there's really no other liability attendant COVID, that the regular waiver should just stand in. Is that your recollection, John?
I think he said he was going to look into it, if there might be some a sentence or 2 language to mention that, but probably wouldn't hurt to have a little disclaimer in there.
Okay, maybe that's something we can add to our risk category that already covers, all things, especially kid related. So then I need to talk to Chris. Is that my correct understanding?
I think it'll be, well, we might have to add that third thing to John Coker's list, because if I'm not mistaken, I think only council members can speak to the lawyer, only because it incurs like a cost, and I think he's not supposed to be email, you know what I'm saying? Like emailing everybody back and then charging the town $75 or whatever. So
Gotcha.
if I'm right, am I right on that, John, or do you want Sarah to email him directly?
If we're lucky, it'll only be $75. No, yeah, just email it to me, or we'll get it to Bob, Dr. LeMay. We'll get it figured out. I know he's going to look at it, and I think it'll be just a simple matter of maybe. But let him look at your waiver.
Okay, because this is the one that was approved previously. I don't recall if he was the lawyer at the time or not, but we've used it for years now. But I just want to be sure that we're covering ourselves, especially during these unusual times. Typically, our applications are made available June 1st. Is that something that we could get completed by June 1st?
Yeah, I don't think this would be a very big project. It's just a matter of him to review it. And get it over to me or to Bob, and we'll get it turned around as quick as possible.
All right, how do you want to do this, Kendra? Do you want Sarah to send it to you so that you can make sure Bob and John get it? How do you want to do it?
No, I think, Sarah, if you just send it straight to John and CC myself and Bob LeMay, and then I will let John kind of head it up from there and make sure Chris addresses it, but make John the 2-person and me and LeMay the CC, and John will take care of it and make sure it gets addressed.
Get it to me as soon as possible, because I have a call in to get to Chris anyway on something else. So
I can do it later this evening.
That'd be perfect.
I'll send you both the camp and the tennis one. I believe the wording is the same on both of them, but then that way you just have both forms that we ask for signatures with.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me about camp? Because then I have a couple activity questions.
I do not have any questions.
Okay. Oh, I do have one more. Who do I contact to reserve spaces at the community center?
I'm going to let Joy unmute herself on that. Probably Joy, if she's still on the community center board.
Yeah, that would be Joe Jogman.
Got it. I can pester Joe. That's not a problem. Okay. A couple of my questions with as far as activities, I would like to have some activities, even if they can't be within the community center yet, but I wasn't sure about protocol. Like, I'd like to have the movie in the park, so long as, everybody's socially distanced, or to offer Tai Chi outside, which I think it's easier for people to socially distance, and being outside also, I think, creates a level of comfort for people. But I'm not sure exactly where we're at with being able to have activities in the community center, outside the community center, hosted by the community. So I don't want to jump the gun, but I also don't want to miss reintroducing those things to the town.
One of the things I read in the New York Times, one of the issues that everybody's got with the outdoor thing is all the ambiguity around the CDC guidelines and the rules and the Fauci's and all that stuff. And one of the things that I read that made it all a little bit more simple, and maybe want to consider adopting it if it's accurate. I'd have to verify that it's good information. But the 2 out of 3 rule. So if you're outside with a mask on, or you're outside and you're not 6 feet, you're more than 6 feet apart. So 2 of those things have to be true, and then you're okay. So if you're outside and you have a mask on, then you don't need to worry about the 6-foot rule.
Okay.
So kids can sit next to each other and watch the movie. But if you're outside and you don't have a mask on, then the kids need to be 6 feet apart, because they're outside. You know what I mean? So that 2 of the 3 things need to hold true, because the transmission rates outdoors are minuscule anyway. So if you've got 2 of those things happening, then your odds are even more reduced.
Okay. So does that mean that I can
I mean, I'm not, yeah, I don't have the ability to approve anything, but that's how I would take it to the council is I think you should have a proposal for them that makes pragmatic sense. And that to me makes a lot of sense, what I read.
Okay. So if I just pick a couple of activities to propose specifically, you think that that's a good place to kind of launch back into this?
It does to me, but what do you guys think? Joy, I mean, you're smarter than all of us.
Yeah, I think right now the community center is still closed, and we'll see what they say at the next council meeting. But I think the council is requesting that anyone who's going to do an activity there, they want to see a proposal of how you are going to keep it safe. And then they've okayed pickleball, they've okayed some table tennis, some things like that, because they were presented a plan. So as long as you have a plan that you can show the council, well, everything's going to be safe, I think they'll let you do your activities.
Okay. Perfect. Then I will work on that for the next council meeting. Otherwise, that was all of my things as of now.
Awesome. That was a lot. I mean, that was good. All great stuff. Thank you for all your dedication and hard work. We're lucky to have you do this camp.
It's a joy to be with you guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll let Sarah go since she's got 2 little babies at home that might need attention. Does anybody else have any questions for her? Is she good to go?
John Coker, are you good with her sending something to council, or do you want to be involved? How do you want her to handle that?
Yeah, wait a minute. I thought she was going to send something to me tonight.
No. This is about her. She's going to send you the waivers tonight.
Okay.
Her next question was about activities like the movie in the park or Tai Chi.
Yeah, she's going to have to present that to the council with a program like everybody else has.
But I'll still send it to you and Kendra. I always try to, if I'm going to send something, it would go to the group. So
and I can give Bob a heads up. So that'll work.
Great. John, if you just ask that they put it on the agenda for the May meeting, if she's going to have it ready by the May meeting, if you just have it on the agenda, that'd be perfect.
Not a problem.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, Sarah.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, moving on. I'm just going to kind of read some of these other ones. It's just ongoing business to keep people up to date, and if they look back at our minutes and whatnot, our agenda. So the pickleball tennis courts rehab, there's nothing new there. We got a tentative start date for July, so let's hope that, still sets. I know.
Didn't we miss the Beach Garden Club update?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. Okay, Beach Garden Club update. I'm not sure. I know Joy's on, but if anyone else is on for the Garden Club and wants to give that update, I'm sorry.
Janice is here.
Yep, I'm here. And Zach, could you, I sent an email. It was kind of close to the meeting time. Can you share a screen? Great, thank you. The Beach Garden Club, we started off the year last week with our first meeting. I won't go through all of this, but this is our plan for the year. We'll be looking at doing a fairy tree on a dead stump, getting some new hose supports put in so that you see they won't have to lay in the grass, and the mowers won't have to pick them up all the time. We'll also have a Learn and Grow program that will be 2 Saturdays during the summer. It will be run by the Master Gardeners. We will conduct tours, and there will be some children's activities along with that. So for our first year, we'll do 2 of those events, maybe more later, and maybe incorporate something with summer camp kids next year. We're going to do the same things we did last year of supporting containers, putting in the maintenance, etc., for flowers and making the park look nice. If you'll go to the next screen, Zach. The path, we've talked about that a couple times about what could we do with the path. We were talking about last month, I think I wasn't there at the meeting, but talked with Joy. Zach, back in November, when I first met you, we did the kick the heel on the edge of the path. So if you see these pictures, you see a little bit of the before and after on the right hand. So what happened over 100 years, probably, the grass has grown over the path. So I went out and started digging. Then I recruited my husband and we started digging. And you can see with a little bit of man and woman power, we cleaned up the path. And it's actually quite charming. It has what appear to be like asphalt bricks that line it. The biggest part of the job, though, is there's so much debris. And thank you to Tom Dolph. He cleaned up all my Caddyshack mole holes or mounds. And that's in the picture over to the right. The left there. The other part of the path redo would be tree trunks that have grown through. So you see that I have an Easy Street asphalt sign, the picture right next to that. That's one of the more major areas. We would need to dig that out and then replace asphalt. The reason I have Easy Street asphalt is because it's a great product. It's pretty much guaranteed for life. It's a cold patch. You could actually, the city streets might want to look at it because you can patch a pothole in the wintertime with water in the hole and you put it in and it's guaranteed for like 10 years. City of Evanston, Illinois uses it, but I thought it would be a good way to patch up any of the places that we have. So what needs to happen next is we need to decide, should this be kind of a fun volunteer project for the community and do maybe 10-foot sections and ask people to adopt a section, or do we get the firemen and the policemen to volunteer and we do a competition there with some other organizations included, of course, Park Board comes in and competes with the firemen, et cetera. Or do we hire somebody to do this work? But basically the work involves digging out the dirt, and because of the buildup, there are some places where you have actually like 6-inch drop-offs. And today I practically falling off of one of my own edges I made. So the ground beside it needs to be chamfered, and then grass seed would have to be planted. So that's the biggest part of the job, is getting that slope right and not create more tripping hazards. Like I said, dig out the tripping hazard zones from the tree roots, fill those gaps that we have with asphalt, then put in, I think I calculated about 50 feet of additional asphalt. So at the entrance for the path off of, I can't remember the name of the street that's right across from the town hall, that goes there, but there's just dirt. And then we have where the sewer was dug up, there's no path at all. And then fixing all the places where we have tree stumps. So adding that in. Then, of course, Joy and I want to go and power wash. So we would power wash all that asphalt and the side bricks because they're white. I don't understand where. I have to do some history on those bricks. Seal coat the current path and then maintain that edge every year, twice a year, I think is all it would need. And I think it's lovely, fits with the aging of the park, etc. So do you want to do any questions right now on that, on the path, or?
I would. Kendra, do you think we could get a quote from Dan on?
You mean Dave Christopherson, the debt guy? Is that who you mean?
No.
Oh, Dan
Healy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think
Edging the back and digging up the rest of the path and maybe digging out those roots.
Yep. I think that's a good place to start. And you brought it up. I think this is something we should hire out. I think it's a bigger project than asking people to volunteer. And that just sounds like a total coordination nightmare. I mean, to figure, you know what I mean? Like to try, it's a bigger job. It's a bigger job than just a few people. So to try and coordinate everybody.
We have a pretty aging community.
Right.
Yeah, we have, I don't know, it was 7 man hours I think we had and it's not quite 40 feet. So I calculated it would take almost, if only 2 of us did it, my husband and I would take it. It would take us 6 weeks every day, And,
Yeah.
We want to have it done by 4th of July, right? Or sooner.
Yeah, I mean, that awesome. I'll get in touch with Healy first, and then,
Do you want any additional quotes? I'll be glad to.
yeah, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, you're probably going to need them because landscape companies are completely booked up right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you, Janice, I even hope Dan Healy can do it, but anybody you know or that you can reach out to try and get a quote, absolutely. Let's get them out there as soon as possible, and I'll work on Dan, and then we can hopefully do this right away. It looks awesome. Thanks for your hard work. I had no idea that those white bricks were there.
Yeah.
That looks great.
Really cool. It's really cool.
Janice, can I ask a question? Did you send
Sure.
that email to everybody, the one that Zach showed on the screen?
Yes,
I'll
you
forward
have it,
I'll
Anita.
forward it to you.
Okay.
I'll
and
send
then
you a Word
thanks-
doc.
Thanks for the shout out to Evanston. I lived there for 30 some years.
Okay. Yeah,
A
they
great
don't have pothole. Yeah, they don't have pothole problems. So then this last slide is, this is the dream slide. So as we were thinking about the centennial, some of this is Beach Garden Club idea. Some of this is Bev's idea. Some of it's mine. So I'm going to let Bev talk about the tree trimming. Bev, are you on?
She's here somewhere.
I thought I saw her earlier, but if she isn't there.
Yeah, she's
Thought she
unmuted.
left.
She's unmuted. She's still there.
Bev, you want to unmute?
I'm not showing that she's muted at all. She might have called in as well. I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, she's still muted. Mine shows her as being muted.
Oh, okay, am I on
She just
now?
did that.
Oh,
there
I
she
hear
is.
her.
Okay,
I hear
thank you
her.
very much. We were thinking, since it's, we have such a desire to do such great things with the Beach Garden Club and Long Beach and the Park Board, who have been so supportive of us. We're thinking that this 100th anniversary, that we should really consider some professional trimming, tree trimming. And we do really need a good tree trimmer. Most of them that are involved at our we would say authentic, are also arborists. And some of the trees really need to be trimmed to make it really look very, very good. The other part of the organization, beside the trimming, are very excited to do some very, let's say, some glorious things for the 4th of July and for the 100th anniversary. And we are asking if there is some way that you could assist us with the trees at this time.
I know that there are different times. First of all, we'd have to get estimates, but I know depending on the trees that there are various time, guidelines on when you can trim. So I think we all know that.
And Anita, we have master gardeners who are very aware. And we have already had, targeted some of the trees prior to that, and things were done. All this is at this point is some trimming on the sides of the tree and such, just to spruce it up and to make it look presentable. And particularly around our shade garden, we would just like, just to make it look ready for the 4th of July celebration.
Yes, I have some tree trimmers that I can reach out to with you that we're good about giving quotes, because we've had so many, 16 did tree trimming. We were going to do it at 28, never was able to. So hope so I can get with you, Bev, and get a couple people out there to give us quotes.
Thank you very much. And does that mean that would this come from the park board fund, or would this come from council, or at this point, what are we thinking about funding on this particular project?
I think it would come from the park board landscaping budget, because it's even though you guys are kind of like our consultants, but it's still the property and stuff. And I don't, you guys spend your money on the property too as well. But I don't see this trimming these trees any differently than the trees we trimmed at STOP 16, because we were worried about, if their safety or whatnot. So unless anyone thinks differently, I think this would just come out of our typical landscaping budget.
Well, that would
I
be
agree.
wonderful. That would be wonderful because we have 8 gardens that we are maintaining. 4 within the 4 that the park, the beach garden club does, the shade garden, the memorial garden, the 2 gardens that are in the front there with Dennis and such. But we also do the auxiliary ones around Moore Road, et cetera, that I know Janice has spoken to you about. Our budget is $2,000, so it's very lean as far as our projection of what we would like to do for beautification, this year, and securing, a really lovely display of work in the gardens with the garden club members. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I just mention, Bev, I'm not sure, just for the Beach Garden Club, Tom Dolph was given authority by the council, I believe at the last meeting, to move forward with getting his arborist certification, whatever that involves. I don't know, but he was given authority to do that.
You know what, Anita, that is wonderful because we could work. Tom has been very cooperative, with us and such. They are cleaning up the park, but we are cleaning up all the gardens and such. And so if you walk through the park, you'll notice that there are many limbs that are down, many branches and such. And we're trying to secure the area to make it clean and safe for walking and such. So we would be very happy to work, I'm sure. Now, Janice is the liaison. I am her assistant at this particular time. I'm her acolyte. That we would be very happy to work with Tom and secure what can be done, particularly in-house.
Great.
Yeah, because we'll be making some more piles of mess.
We are. We
Getting the branches all piled up and the leaves and all of the cleanup. So thank you.
You're right, Jen. The next couple of weeks, we do have a scurry of volunteers to be coming and cleaning and blowing, the area and such, so we will be having a lot of debris and such. So we need to be in contact with him. So I would appreciate you mentioning to him that we will be reaching out to him as well.
So a couple of things. I noticed when I was looking at all the trees, there's quite a few branches that are growing into the power line. So I called the number for NIPSCO and asked them to come and take a look at those power line interferences with the tree limbs. I talked with Joy. The mulching will that'll be hired out. Tom will provide the mulch and get the mulch laid. Things like, the benches, refurbishing the benches. We thought that would be a great project to do. I don't know that can happen very quickly, but certainly 8 of the benches are from WPA and there's 6 others. So those would be nice to get them lifted up, replace some of the boards, and then just keep those in good shape with some maintenance of sealing the wood every year. And
do either of you know anybody in Civic? Because that has come up on their agenda, and I'm not sure if it's something that you can reach out to them and work with them on, or if it's something that you just prefer to proceed on your own. But it has been mentioned by Civic.
I think
Anita,
collaboration is always the best.
Yeah, Anita, we had received word in the past that was a project. And so Kendra would know that we've been talking about this for a few years.
Oh my gosh.
Today, the day that we are right now, we're waiting to hear what Civic interest is in the benches. But that's all I can tell you right now, okay?
Great.
But I know that they had mentioned that they would try to refurbish the ones particularly the ones that Janice was talking about, the WPA, that just need They need boards, and they just need to be lifted, from the area. They're beautiful, and we do not know at this point. But the other benches are terrible. If you walk through the park, I please encourage everybody to walk through, see Janice's work. She's like, we called her Forrest Gump at our last meeting of the Beach Garden Club, because she just kept going with their path all the way as far as she could. So we are just looking forward to just taking a look at that and hearing from Civic. Okay, and that's it at this point.
Great. Keep us posted on that, because I know that if Civic doesn't want to do the benches and you guys want to head it up, you're going to need more money than your $2,000 budget. Well, obviously we'll pay for it or whatever, because that's been something that Bev and I, enjoy too, been on the park board for years. Always, it somehow gets pushed to the back burner a lot. So if they could take it over, that'd be great. If not,
okay.
So let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kendra.
And finally, I'll just wrap up, because I know it's a long meeting tonight. Looking at the 100th year, and all of these things can't happen this year, but eventually, after the stops are all refurbished, maybe we work on the park and do a landscape plan for the entire park, do some lighting, maybe even think about public Wi-Fi, because it's a terrible spot for people's phones to work. And just collaborate with all the organizations in town that have beautification in their mission. So that's what we were thinking. Do brainstorming ideas, and we'll take off on the trees though, and the path, and we'll get going. So thank you very much. We really, really appreciate the support. Makes a huge difference for everyone.
Thanks for all your hard work.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. So we will move on to where we at here. 10, which I jumped to before. So this stuff's I'll probably run through this quickly because I know it's getting late, but this is all updates. So we have a tentative start date for July to redo the pickleball and tennis courts. They already filled in some cracks and stuff that were down by the basketball hoop, so that's good. And so we hope July still works. I know that that's probably not an ideal time, but I think we still go with it because contractors are always behind schedule anyways, so I don't want to give him a reason to not fit us in. So if they're ready to work, we might just have to have a week where there's no tennis or pickleball available. And if camp is that going on that week, I think we can find an alternative. We'll just deal with that if we have to, but hopefully that will happen in July. So Stop 20 stairs were supposed to be started this week, but they were also supposed to be started last week and the week before that. But that's all been permitted and approved. So we're just waiting for them to actually do the work. We still need to sort of this ongoing business. I have it listed as beautify stops where the bins, meaning the toter bins, are no longer. Some of them are fine as is. I kind of tried to list it out here. Stops going west to east. So at 16, if we just add some more river rock, that should take care of where the toter used to be and let people park their, bikes and stuff. Stop 18. So if Tom Dolph and I were talking today, and I think we might have come up with a solution for 18 because they originally, so you guys will have to use your memory unless Zach, you have a picture of 18 to pull up, but originally the bike rack was attached to the toter bins. And now that the toter bins are gone, there's no bike rack. So we're left with more deck space, which is nice. And it's nice for the view. It's nice just to have that deck space. And we have a large loading and unloading zone of concrete to the east there. So our thought was on one of the last meetings, we would just move the bike rack. I think that was the Chris and Amy D'Amato's suggestion, residents there at 18, to move the bike rack over there to that east portion. Talked to Tom about that. And because it's a wood bike rack, oh yeah, thanks, Zach.
No.
Since it's a wood bike rack, or more so that it's concrete in the ground there, you can't really take that same bike rack and put it into the concrete. So, however, there are two super nice old metal bike racks. One sits at 28 and one sits at Melrose. and they're probably from the 50s. They maybe could just use a spruce up of new black spray paint, but they're just like old fashioned metal. You just pick them up. They're super heavy. I mean, I don't think someone would have to pick up the entire bike rack and the bikes attached in order to steal the bike. So Tom said he thinks he can take the bike rack from Melrose, the metal bike rack, put it at the parking loading and unloading zone there at 18, and then take that existing bike rack, which he saved from 18, and put that back at Melrose. So everybody still has a bike rack. And I thought that was an awesome solution because there's no way to put a wood bike rack like used to be at 18 into the concrete.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
I think that's good. I think the guys, when they go to paint the rails at stop 20, they could very easily clean up and paint the bike rack as well. I'm going to charge us for it, whatever, but it won't be that bad.
Perfect. Great idea. Because they've got high powered stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
So see if Tom can bring that rack over to 20, so it's sitting there where they need it when we do the work.
Yeah, it might take Tom just a bit. He said he thinks he has to cut it a little bit because we don't want it to interfere too much. But it's a pretty long rack at 20. But Tom will work on that, so we'll get that done. So awesome. Joy, Anita, you guys fine with that?
Yes, I'm fine with
Yes.
that.
Okay. 19, that, take a look at that. We still have left that. I was thinking that might be if Tom thinks he might have to cut that current bike rack at Melrose almost in half. And if he does so, we'd have another bike rack, or maybe we could look at something similar to put at 19, because, that is all town property, beautifully landscaped by the neighbor, but town property. And so we have the toters that are gone now, but there's still no clear place for people to know that it's okay, like to leave a stroller, to leave a, whatnot, because we didn't have a bike rack. So if we just maybe enlarge that space just a bit, maybe, 2 feet by 1 feet, and put a bike rack of some sort there, it might indicate to people, here's where you can park your bike, here's where you can pull your stroller up, because right now there's just a big cutout kind of in the grass on the west side of the stop.
I'm looking for a picture. I don't have one. So.
That sounds good, though.
Yeah. It sounds
Okay.
simple enough.
I'll work with Tom on that to see what he's left with. And if he doesn't have a leftover portion, I mean, we don't want it to look junky, so we don't want to look like it came from the junkyard, but if not, we might just have to buy a bike rack or have someone make one that looks like, the others. The only thing that I liked about the metal bike rack issue was I believe the resident has got some in-ground sprinklers right there. And if we just do a metal bike rack, you don't have to dig. There don't have to be posts. We don't have to dig into the grass or anything too much. So I'll see how it plays out when Tom moves that rack to 18 and what we're left with. Okay, going fast because I know people probably have stuff to do. 20 is fine. I think we just need to add some river rock, and that'll be great where the toters were. 22 is fine as is. 26, same thing. Add a little more river rock to fill in that hole. 28, 29, we can't do anything with until the town council works out the revetment issues and the erosion and all that. So that's still on hold. Step 30, I have add river rock. I kind of put a question mark there. Joy, I think from the last meeting, you were maybe going to see if you ran into Martha Moss and see if she had any suggestions, or if anyone thinks, I think just adding some more river rock there would be okay. But has anyone had any feedback from anybody at step 30?
No, but I forgot to contact Martha. I'll get a hold of her tonight and ask her.
Okay. I mean, I think she's pretty minimalist and nature lover. I think
Yeah,
the stops.
I think she'll be fine with just river rock.
Yeah, but check in with her if you don't mind. She is the stop captain, so.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, thank you. And then rehab of 21 and 23 are still on hold. The town's got has done their permitting and stuff, and Woodruff is doing all that erosion control. So once 21 and 23, that work is done, then we can work on parking or drop-off zones and benches and decks and stuff.
And they started doing some work at 23 last week. So hopefully that's looking like it might get started soon.
Yeah, I did see some work down below. Looks like they dropped some concrete barriers and stuff like that. So I think that's it. If any, well, let's open it up to public comment. Then.
Yeah, everyone should be able to unmute themselves if they've got anything.
Hello, I'm Sarah Murphy. I am at Stop 29, and I just wanted to first say thank you very much for all the work that you do. I'm just amazed. I watched 3 of your other meetings on the Zoom in the last couple of days, and thank you all for your work. It's incredible what you're doing. It's just amazing. The reason that I'm interested is that I love the lake, and I have started a little eco business where I would love to support your work actually via muscle and potentially fundraising down the road. But I wanted to find out a little bit more about beach cleanups and what sort of that looks like as far as who's involved. I heard that Tom O'Keefe did the March cleanup, but are there ongoing cleanups? Is that something that the Parks Board or the Town Council wants to have happen? Is that?
It's really ours to do, and I'll speak up because I organized it last year and this year. But we tried to do it with Michigan City and do it the same day as Michigan City does theirs, but we just weren't getting a lot of cooperation from them, so we just said, okay, we'll just do our own thing. So all we do now is just pick a weekend and we organize it. Because of COVID last year and COVID this year, we kept it simple, posted on Facebook, put some notes out on this meeting here, and then I just tied up garbage bags to all the stops. And people went and used them, brought stuff up to the top, and then me and Tom Dolph get it all removed on Monday. So it's pretty simple. There wasn't much beach to clean this year. And then Tom O'Keefe did his own thing at 28, which is great. So we typically just do that once a year.
Okay.
And there may be weather patterns or something that would happen that would make ruin everything we already did, and we have to do something again. And we just sort of play it by ear. If we need to do it.
Well, I would love to get involved in helping in any way I can, and maybe getting the community involved. And I've been learning so much about the lake and the plastic. Like, there's just so much that I think people don't know. I didn't know. And I'd love to be able to figure out a way to get the word out for that and support. And then the other question I had was Stockwell Nature Preserve. It's on the Park Board site. Is that something that you all are involved in any way, or is that just I just saw that tonight on the Long Beach site.
Stockwell Nature Preserve is owned by Save the Dunes.
Save the Dunes. Okay. I just didn't know if there was a connection with the Park Board with that, or if that's just a separate thing. I just thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a separate thing.
Okay.
What a nice thing.
I'll throw out one thing. It's funny you mentioned that, Anna, just real quickly. If you maybe want to think about this and come back to another meeting, or I don't know what y'all think, but I walk the beach a lot, and the plastics are so out of control. And I've seen some other beaches in South Carolina and stuff. I don't know. I don't want another sign. I don't want to junk it up, but I'm wondering if there is some way, like at some of the stops or whatever, there could just be like a little bucket, like a protected bucket, and meant for the small plastics. The pop can, the water bottle tops, all that stuff that floats, that people could drop in there. Because from my understanding, you can't just throw that stuff back in the garbage, or it just comes right back where it came from. So I don't know. Every stop would probably be too much, but maybe a little something. And I'm thinking like down at the bottom of the stops near the beach. So if people are walking the beach or come up from the beach, like a little informational sign, I don't know, just, it would be nice to somehow address those small plastics that are, the balloons, the strings, the pop, the water bottle tops and stuff, a little like drop place where people could drop that stuff. And we don't want it big, because we don't want people to put actual trash there, because that's the whole point. We get rid of those toters, but that might be a little something for you to think about, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy to think about it. I have a lot of ideas. I just wanted to kind of hear what the town was doing, and so that I support and don't like step in and say, this is what I want to do. So now that I've heard a little bit more, I can come back with some ideas. And I heard everybody say, you need a plan. So I'll come back with, I'll come back with a plan, and I won't need any money. I just want to be able to get people involved. And I think people really want to do the right thing. They just don't know what it is all the time as far as the beaches go. And so the more I can help support and explain and get the word out, maybe even use the beacher. Anyway, so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea to have something, but again, Kendra, then we go back to people using the flower pots that we had to take away for dog excrement. So whether it's little, big, medium sized, it's going to be used likely for the wrong reasons.
You're right.
Can I just add, well, just because you brought that up, Anita, the carry in, carry out for this season, I know that end of last year I had heard quite a bit about challenges and why it's happening, but is there a support plan for when all the summering people come in, and how to work with them?
Zach, you can speak to that, but I think that because of COVID, people are here a lot more anyhow. And so whether summer people come here or not, the park board, and correct me if I misspeak, but I think we did a good job of communicating in the Beacher on Facebook, letting people know that the Indiana Dunes is a national park. And so I think that that's why we instituted, and this was at the request of the town council. They voted to remove these. The park board was simply tasked with implementing what the town council decided, I believe, June of 2020, Zach, if I'm correct. And I can let Zach speak to it. He was very involved.
Yeah, and we all supported that decision too, unanimously. But I think we've done as much as we can do to communicate what we're doing. And then we're going to have to see what happens when, if we get a day like we got today on a Saturday. And I think it's going to require, and I spoke up the last few council meetings about this, it's going to require some community, I call it community policing, but it's really just, you see somebody dumping garbage somewhere. It's going to be renters. It's going to be people that don't live here, people that go down to the beach and don't respect what we're doing. But we can't have folks dropping trash bags at the top of the stops, and without there being receptacles there, hopefully they won't. And I just, we've had some pretty significant rule changes over the years. No items not leaving items tied to stops anymore, and that was a big public fuss for a while, and it's really gone extremely well. So I've got a lot of faith in the community.
Great.
That once we get this kicked off and we get through the initial growing pains of it, that everyone's going to be happy about it and just carry on.
Great. I just wanted to offer that I'm happy to jump in and help organize, think through, coordinate to help make sure that the trash doesn't go back in the lake.
That's great. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Any other comments? Zach, I'll let you be in charge of keeping it open for comments until you think nobody wants to comment.
I'm just looking to see if anybody's unmuting. Doesn't look like anybody is right now.
Okay.
Going once, going twice.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for sticking in here for a little bit longer of a meeting. And like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Good night,
Thanks, guys.
Everybody. Good night.
Thanks again for all your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I sent you a message on Nextdoor, Sarah Murphy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.